finishing the top 8 at the end.
Yes, indeed. Should be quite interesting. A little more of an extended format than we've had so far.
Definitely gives players a chance to kind of play past those bad games. You know, when you're playing in a tournament, 1 or 2 bad shoves can cost you your ability to move on. But here with the league, you get to play a full 6 games no matter what happens. So hopefully, players will be able to use that time to kind of express their game style a little bit more than in the tournament.
Absolutely. And just so everyone knows, we're dropping the one lowest score out of 6. So if you have one bad game or you miss one game, that's okay. So it's just your top 5 scores put together.
All right. So first hand right off the bat, we have Burnt with a few DTs here, Sylvanas with a few Immortals, and Good Not Bad folding his 15 Phoenix. So nothing too out of the ordinary here for the first hand. Burnt does go ahead and raise and take it down with those DTs. All right on to the next hand, action flowing right along. Drunk Archon with 15 Liberators. Sylvanas might make a play with those 2 Ravens, but knowing her, I don't think that's going to happen. But we should definitely be seeing a raise here from Drunk Archon. Just depends on how much.
All right, sorry, just posting the notification. All right.
And he takes it down with the raise. A little bit tighter play earlier on here than what we've seen in the past. With the new change, especially with your second card now guaranteed to be at least 12 supply, some of these hands that are drawing hands that aren't so strong right off the bat have a little bit more playability than they normally do. You know that you're going to get a slightly stronger card on your second card, so you can play a little more dicey cards on your first hand.
Absolutely. All right, here we are. Tanks and Queens.
Ooh. Invisible Liberators save the day, it seems here.
Yeah, Liberators probably have this, right?
Liberators should have this, I believe. Lots of pew pew going on.
Yeah.
And Sylvanas takes down the first showdown of the game. All right on to hand number 4. Good, not bad with 12 Immortals. That's really about all there is to write home about in this hand. Metalcore might make a play with those 22 Widowmines. No, decides to just check. Ooh, and quite the second card. 16 Cyclones for Burnt, 23 Ravens for Metalcore, a few Ultralisks for Yin Crash. Oh man, we might see some sparks fly here. We should definitely be getting a bet from Metalcore.
Yeah, there you go.
Gotta be. And here comes the patented Metalcore overbet.
Yeah.
23 into a pot of 7. And Sylvanas makes the call with the Liberators. I don't think it's going to be enough to take down the Ravens, although the Zerglings are going to go right under the Ravens and make them blow themselves up. Ooh. That's 3 Widowmine survive for Metalcore. Oh no.
8 battlecruisers.
Oh, 8 battlecruisers for Burnt. That's definitely going to draw out a bet. We'll see how Stealth plays the 19 Corruptors.
Burnt just checks.
Ooh, going for a check raise maybe. See what happens. Stealth could give him the opportunity to check raise. 19 Corruptors is definitely a bettable hand. Let's see what happens. Stealth does go ahead and go for the raise. Let's see how Burnt reacts. Is he going to lay the trap and just call, or is he going to go ahead and drop the hammer right now with a raise? He just sets the trap and calls. Uh, Good card for stealth with the 23 metavacs. You wouldn't think they'd be so great with the corruptors, but against the battlecruiser DPS, it's not
Yeah.
super bursty outside of the Yamatos, so the metavacs are going to help those corruptors survive.
Oh yeah, Crafters actually have this one.
I think they do. And Burnt surrenders. Quite
Doesn't
the
include
call by stealth.
Yeah, I liked Burn slow play there. It's pretty interesting.
Let's see. Sylvanas with a few Archons. Definitely going to do well against the 7 Infestors and 8 Lurkers that Good not have and Stealth have. The players in the chat talking about the stream being up. If any players are still watching, you're still more than welcome to leave the stream up, even if this is your table. We are on a 5-minute competitive delay so that we're not giving away any live information in the game. But yeah, feel free. All right, Burnt with 11 swarm hosts, siege tanks. Sylvanas with 12 oracles. The oracle's probably the best card in this situation right now on the table. Sylvanas singing it through. Calls Burnt's raise. 25 hydras and 9
Nine roaches.
roaches.
Not what you want to see
Ooh.
there. Huh?
Not really what you're looking for in a second card, those 9 roaches. 25 hydras probably not going to be a huge bet, although, I mean, it is perfect count. Raises 13 and takes it down. Not too bad. Oh, this is a potential pot right here. Stealth with 13 DTs, but Sylvanas with 17 ghosts. Sylvanas should be raising here, even in early position. And Stealth makes the re-raise. Don't think anybody else is going to play. Let's see if Sylvanas decides to come along. Yep. Oh, and we have an even bigger counter for those ghosts. Stealth picks up 6 infestors. He's going to feel good about that since infestors do partially counter DTs, so he knows they're off the table, but look at those EMPs. Oh.
Oof. That was a fast cleanup right there.
Nobody
Pretty weak
making
hand
any
right here,
huge
yeah.
bets so far, yeah. Pretty mellow game to start off with. Nobody really with anything threatening here at the table. Let's see how it plays out poker-wise. Probably just going to check all around unless Ian Crash decides to take a stab at the pot.
Sylvanas getting 23 Ravens. 25 Vikings, 16 Libs. Pretty good second cards here.
Stealth with 25 Stalkers as well. Might get dragged along. And with that Terran 2-2 on the table, you know the Vikings and the Liberators are going to feel a little bit stronger in their cards.
Absolutely.
Good, not bad. Actually, having the suited siege tanks and I'm sorry, Vikings, so he'll be at 3-3. Burnt has to take this bet seriously because with a bet and a re-raise in front of him, somebody has to have capital ships. And when you're sitting there with Tempest, you're like, okay, I can counter the capital ships, but am I going to be able to survive the rest of the fight? In this situation, it worked out perfectly. The Tempest stayed right out of the way and just coast into a victory.
Yeah.
Oh, you love to see it when you have the Tempest like that. Middle core with 8 Thors. Just calls with the Thors, picks up 3 Broodlords for the trouble. Stealth with 4 battle cruisers and 20 ghosts. Yin Crash with not a whole lot. Metalcore does make the call here. Those Broodlords are not going to last with the Ghost Snipes, but I don't think the Ghosts are going to have the DPS to finish the Thors. It's going to be a matter of if the Battle Cruisers can support enough with their Yamato. It looks like they can. Wow, there they go. Alright, moving right along. 15 Oracles for Stealth, 15 Queens for Burnt, 18 Infestors for Good, Not Bad might be playable.
Looks like Burnt's keeping the queens in front. Do you think that's right?
It's debatable. When you have something like Zealots in the back that are a little bit more vulnerable, well, I wouldn't call Zealots vulnerable, but compared to the tankiness of Queens with their self-healing, see, look, they're able to tank all of those Banelings right off the bat for the Zealots. Unfortunately, too many Oracles for them to really be able to heal through, but they're able to get rid of all those that Mainling damage. Let's see, no upgrades on the table this time around. 19 Vikings for Burnt, 25 Hydras for Stealth, 4 Ultras for Metalcore, a perfect 12 count of Broodlords for Good, Not Bad. Decides not to play the Broodlords. Burnt always looking on the bright side of life as he calls with the Vikings and gets roaches for the trouble. Oops. Sylvanas making a mistake, possibly. Stealth re-raising with the suited Hydras and Corruptors. The Hydras in front. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I prefer Hydras to be the last ones into the fight. Unfortunately, Yin Crash with the Swarm Host in the back. Probably going to take this down. There go the Locusts.
One Viking is feeling ambitious. Oh, that's not too bad.
Deciding to jump in the air here. Weird. Huh.
Have you seen that before?
I have not seen that before. That's the first I've seen.
No idea why that happens.
Huh. Because the Locusts don't spawn when they're in the air, right? Like, they're still ground units when they spawn. Oh well, interesting things that happen in BattlePoker. Yeah. Gotta roll with it. It's the joys of playing a game centered around an auto-battler. You get to yell at the AI every once in a while. Good, not bad. Folding the 5 Ravens. Again, that's kind of one of those support cards where I don't mind seeing somebody take off a second card just to see what they draw. You never know when you're going to bink some like nice massive card like Battle Cruisers, Carriers, Thor, something like that. Put them in front, put the Ravens in back just for extra burst DPS.
Yeah. Stealth gets the Archons here. He's got already Protoss maxed out though.
Yeah, unfortunately at the moment you do not get 4/4 if you're suited with 3/3.
You're gonna add that pretty soon.
Yeah, we're thinking about that. Very nice. Very nice. Alright. Another hand with not a whole lot. Stealth with 15 queens on the board at the moment. Might be the only real playable hand, and playable might be a stretch of the imagination there. Yep, stealth does make the min raise to 12. In crash calls with the 6 swarm host. Had good luck with him last time. Decides to give him another shot. 7 Tempests, normally a good card, but in this situation, not going to be that helpful. You really need some high DPS to cut through those queens, and Tempest and Swarm Host are just not going to cut it. Ian Crash makes the insta call. Doesn't even take a second to think about it. Waiting for the queens to show up.
The draw here. You think it's gonna?
Oh, it's almost definitely going to be a draw. If anybody wins, the queens will win, but I don't think they're going to win.
Not able to attack at the same time, either.
Yeah, they're struggling a little bit.
Pretty close, yeah, I think it's going to be tight. Very close.
The stealth off to an early lead with 253, I'm sorry. Metalcore bringing up the back with 60 chips right now, but still only a 6 ante, so Metalcore still sitting on 10 bets. Plenty of poker to play.
Good here with 23 Vikings. Sylvanas with 8 carriers.
Ooh.
Should be an interesting interaction
nice.
here, yeah.
We'll see if Burnt does come along with the 5 DTs playing for the draw. Good, not bad puts in the big re-raise with his Vikings. He assumes Sylvanas is going to come along, yep.
Hard decision from Burnt here. Do you think you'd call or fold in this situation?
The problem is that you already know you're only playing for half the pot with only 5 DTs. They're just not going to be able to put up the DPS to like kill a lot of ground units. So with only a 3, your best bet is that if you're calling 3 waves, only one person gets knocked out and you're splitting it with the other person. So you're calling a really big bet to potentially win not a whole lot. So I don't like this situation, honestly.
Well, Burnt did get 8 ultras.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Sylvanas picked up 23 Ravens. It's gonna struggle with the ultras if the ultras get underneath the Ravens. Sylvanas all in.
Here. Burnt calls. Good,
call.
Almost certainly call too.
I don't see good, not bad calling here. 23 Vikings, even with the Terran 3/3 from being suited, is just not quite strong enough to survive the threat of something like Ravens. He does call. And you can see all the Vikings bunching up there. There go the Raven shots. It's just carnage.
Wow. That's what nearly max Ravens, max carries looks like.
Yeah. Sylvanas moves to the front of the pack. Knocking out good, not bad in 7th place. Alright, Sylvanas now awake again with 21 Corruptors. Metalcore with 9 Tempests. We'll see what happens here. Metalcore does make the min raise. Sylvanas quickly calls. No upgrades on the table this time around. Crash debating it with the Immortals. Not a spot I'd like to see him really tanking anything. That should be a pretty easy fold with the action in front of him. I used to play Immortals in this spot, but I realized they simply don't win as much as I'd like them to. Single target DPS that only does really well against armor damage and gets countered really hard by ghosts is their main survival tactic. Like it's tough to play them in certain situations like that where there's more than one person in the pot. And those Marines doing their damage.
Sylvanas taking out another pretty big pot. Sylvanas and good with the Archons. Rolling pretty well.
Yeah.
Still
8
feels like
Archons for Sylvanas. 17 Ghosts for Stealth. This will be a potential pot. Stealth with the 3 X-rays. Pretty standard. We'll probably see Sylvanas ponder a call here. Being in, well, unfortunately, Sylvanas is in first position, so if she takes that into account, she may actually fold this.
Burnt calls with 8.
Burnt?
Yeah.
Huh. That's an ambitious play, I think. I mean, Broodlord's not bad as one of those drawing hands. You never know what you're going to get. It's worth seeing a second card sometimes. With 8 of them, though, I'm not so sure. I'd really like to see at least like 10, 11, like really close to perfect count when it comes to Broodlords. Going to get countered really hard here by the Ghost and the Phoenix. Oh, but so many DPs are actually going to survive the Ghosts.
Gonna be a drop.
Split pot. Chop it up.
Parallel Colossus dance.
Little Colossus dance. Oh man. Alright, Yin Crash with 16 Swarm Hosts again. Probably going to play this with the 16 raised by Drunk Archon. Archon getting a little ambitious with raising with the 3 Ravens, but like we said, it can be one of those drawing hands. Unfortunately, he's really short with 33 chips, so the implied odds aren't so good if he does get paid off.
Middle core all in on 22 Marauders.
Drunk Archon makes the call, picks up the 8 carriers for his troubles. And here we go. Decent sized pot. Oracle's going to be the first casualty of the vials and the carriers, it looks like. Oh, it looks like all the Marauders actually died underneath him first. One lone Raven scouts out the Swarm Hosts. Drunk Archon calls himself out. Calling himself out for the bluff.
Middle core out in 7th.
Well, it'll actually be 6 since we're missing a person.
Oh, that's true.
Yep. Sylvana's still in first place by a pretty reasonable chunk, up with 34, almost 35 bets. Yin crashed down with 2.5 bets left. Gonna have to go with a hand pretty soon here. Even with this coffee, I'm still yawning. Tried to take a nap right before we started casting. Alright, here we go. Sylvanas with 6 Thors, Burnt with 11 DTs, Stealth with his 8 carriers. Lots of action to be had on the first card here. Yin Crash with 9 Swarm Hosts again.
He loves Swarm Hosts. Stealth re-raises. 30 more.
Burnt deciding what to do. He already had some success once with the DTs. I'd like to see a shove here, honestly. Against 2 other players, you're still about 50-50, and it would be a good triple up to bring you back into the game. At this point, with only 58 chips, a double up isn't really going to be enough to give you a whole lot of life. Oh, 42 Marines, a really nice pickup for Stealth. And he goes all in. Sylvanas gets the bad news. Thought it was a bluff, I'm assuming. Or she expected ravens. That's quite the specific read. I mean, I get it when you have such a big shove like that, but calling somebody just for ravens and calling specifically for that is a very specific read.
A little too specific.
Yeah, I
Stealth
think you missed the mark on that one.
466. Quite a big lead.
And Drunk Archon here with 100 Banelings, perfect count. Yen Crash, the only air unit on the board with 25 Phoenix. Switching around, Burnt picks up 21 or 22 Infestors, 16 Mutas for Yen Crash. Ooh.
Bad luck with the Banelings. Hard counter.
Yeah, those Infestor fungals just Banelings do not survive that.
Yen Crash will take this.
Yen Crash celebrating in chat, not dead yet. Alright, Burnt in trouble now with about 3 bets left. Stealth doing really well with, oh, I can't do the math in my head. Roughly 32, I think. Moving on ahead, Stealth now. 5 players left in the game, and Stealth has over half the money that's left in the game. Definitely a big stack to work with.
Stealth raising with his Liberators here.
Burnt contemplating the call with carriers. Only 4 of them, but they should be able to survive the Liberator DPS. Just a matter if he can find that call button, and he does. Is that all in? That is all in. We'll see what the second card brings. Sylvanas with 8 Broodlords. Probably going to lay it down. Yep. Self picks up a few ghosts. Should be able to go right through those roaches that Burnt picked up.
Yep, looking like Burnt's probably out of this game.
I don't know. Let's see how the carrier and the Liberator fight goes. Yeah, those Liberators get tripped up on the roaches, get caught back. They could have really used that DPS against the carriers. A few more Liberators go down.
Wow.
A few more Liberators go down. The Liberators are dead. Carriers still take it down.
That surprised me.
Liberators just do not do that much single target DPS. They're great against stuff like Mutas, Vikings, things that stack up on each other. But against something with a ton of HP like carriers, they just don't have the DPS to take them down before they end up dying themselves.
Absolutely. Sylvanas raising on 11 Void Rays.
11 Void Ray is definitely a strong hand. I've been warming up to Void Rays a little bit more lately. They've always been strong, but I've seen them just take down some armored units like it's just ridiculous. They eat through Thors like it's nothing, and you'd think that the splash DPS of Thors would be able to take down the Void Rays, but nope.
19 wildcard to top it off.
Oh boy, first wildcard I think we've seen of the game. At least being played. Nope, not being played. Taken down. 24 ghosts for Burnt.
Yen Crash time,
Really?
just a little over 1 bet left.
Yen Crash maybe should have picked a hand a few hands ago to go with, where he still had some fold equity with a shove. Now he's at the mercy of the cards, and it doesn't look like his luck is changing anytime soon. Burnt with the raise and take it with his ghosts.
Yen Crash on his last hand here. 10 Archons. Not the worst thing.
Not a bad hand at all for your last hand. Unfortunately, Burnt with 22 wild cards. Drunk Archon might come along with his 12 Liberators as well.
Stealth
Stealth makes the
calls.
call. Wow. Big pot brewing. Nobody picks up anything massively of consequence. Drunk Archon is going to ruin somebody's day with those Widow Mines, but I don't know if he's actually going to have the DPS to win it. Gin Crash already DBing out, just not having faith in the Archons.
Storm's on the lids. Oh.
Oof. Yep, there go the Liberators. Burnt takes it down with the 20 wild cards. 22 wild cards, I'm sorry.
In Crash out in 5th.
All right. Sylvanas with 11 Ravens. Definitely a stronger hand now that we're down to 4-handed instead of being 7-handed. Goes all in immediately for, what is that, 8 bets? Takes it down. Little poker to be played here as Drunk Archon raises with just the 14 Widow Mines. Takes it down. Antes are up to 20 now. Sylvanas with the 11 Broodlords makes a min raise. Should be enough to take it down here, I believe. Burnt maybe contemplating that call with the 2 Ravens, although I think even 2 Ravens is too small to consider a call with support Ravens, as they were. Ooh, another round of nothing too crazy. We'll see a little poker being played, hopefully.
Maybe a bluff from Burn here.
Could be, especially since you know that carriers are off the table. That's one major card you know your opponents could have that, since you've got it, you don't have to worry about them potentially waking up with it. Contemplating it. Nope, just checks it around. 9 Void Rays, 14 Vikings. We have a min raise by the Vikings and a call from the Void Rays. I don't think Sylvanas plays the 2 Tempests here. Oh, she does. There go those Void Rays just mopping up. So much DPS.
I like watching the counter the wings go down sometimes.
Yeah. Pew pew.
Another 22 wild cards here.
I think that was the same count as the last time he had them.
Yeah.
Min raise. We'll see if anybody comes along for the draw, but nobody really has a strong enough hand to play. Yep, takes it down. This late in the game, when there's not that many antes left in the game, you're fine with just a raise and take it down scenario. The less you have to show down what you're playing, and more importantly, risk having somebody actually beat you, just even on the off chance of, like, you know, waking up with a Raven, something like that. The more you can take down without a showdown, the better.
Absolutely. Drunk Archon all in on his ultras here. Takes it down.
Ante's up to 24 now. Drunk Archon's still sitting on about 3-4 bets left, needing to make a move again soon. Ooh. Stealth with a good Baneling count and perfect count on his Marines, which are 3-3 upgraded. Burnt with 19 Queens and 16 wild cards. Sylvanas with some Lings and Siege Tanks. This could be a big hand. Let's see what Stealth does. Yep.
This will be interesting.
That's a lot of those Banelings going down before they even get within range, but here comes those 3-3 Marines cutting through everything. They just might not have the staying power to actually get through it all. No, not enough. Good wildcard roll.
Stealth is still in it, but down to 4 bets, I guess.
Let's see here. Drunk Archon with his 23 infestors, 21 goes for Sylvanas. Sylvanas already calling the all-in by Drunk Archon. Archon's going to get some bad news here, I'm afraid. Oh, wow. Could have sworn Sylvanas would have taken that down, but I suppose not. And Sylvanas now down to all in with 7 chips. Woo.
Yeah, Stealth looking pretty good here.
See. 10 Ravens for Burnt. Stealth already all in with the 14 Liberators. Drunk Archon debating the call with the 69 Banelings and 20 Adepts. Sylvanas already in with the High Templar and Cyclones, leaving the Cyclones in the back. I don't know how I feel about that. Cyclones in this version of the game are pretty darn tanky with 200 HP. Might just be being results oriented, but I feel like they would have done better in the front. GG well played in chat. Sylvanas is out in 4th. We are down to our top 3. Burnt still out way in the lead. And takes down another pot with a raise. Drunk Archon waking up with 18 Dark Templar. Makes the min raise. Let's see if Burnt can find that call button with the Banelings. Nope, not enough Banelings. Stealth all in with the Dark Templar again with 8 Liberators to back it up. Burnt considering a call with 25 Phoenix. Should go to a draw if that goes through. Yep. I don't know, that might be enough Liberators to do some damage, but no, the Liberators go down pretty quickly. We'll be waiting on the Dark Templar to mop up and for the draw timer to kick in.
Only Colossi avatars left.
Only Colossi avatars left.
To be the most powerful avatars, you know?
Might put you on the spot here for a second. Do you have any plans to introduce any more MMR-based avatars past 1850?
I've been thinking about it. Yeah, I think I might do.
Alright. Let's see what you have up your sleeve coming up here in the future. Alright, 5 Thors for Burnt. Decides to check. Nobody else with anything of note. Burnt with 7 Liberators as well. Now, if only his opponents had something to call with, he might actually make a little bit more money on this hand.
Stealth pretty much all in. Only has Marines here. Not looking great.
No upgrades on the Marines this time around either, although 20 Infestors might be enough to survive. It's going to depend on how these Ravagers and Battlecruisers play out. Let's see if he puts the money in with it. He just folds. Wow, folds himself down to half a bet. That is a ambitious play, I believe. Stealth all in. Gets a pretty good second card with 21 Vikings up against Burnt's 22. 22 wild cards once again. Doesn't look like as strong of a wild card roll this time around, though, as those Vikings are cleaning up all the air. Plenty of swarm hosts in the back to deal with some of the ground. And things kind of take a turn as I am mid-sentence. Well, no. The swarm hosts still are able to clean up all the ground. If they can take down that Thor, shouldn't be a problem.
We got some swarm host versus swarm
10
host.
seconds. Oh, I didn't see the swarm host in the back. Okay, we're going to have a draw here, folks. Always that one swarm host in a wild card that stays in the back and saves you just in case.
Checks all around. Brent gets suited cards, some floors and tanks. Archon with the borders. Stealth with some Vikings. Could see some action here.
Three-way action as we go in with Stealth all in. Hoping that those Tempests are going to keep them in the game, but I don't think it's going to happen this time around. Those Void Rays doing massive damage to the Vikings. Although maybe not enough. Tanks are the only thing left on the ground. The Void Rays finally go down. Those Tempests are going to survive for Stealth, keeping them in the game. One more round. Don't think he's going to have the DPS to actually kill these tanks, but a split pot is better than no pot. Although, they are a little low. They're a little low. No, not quite. Not quite there. Alright, Stealth with a bet and change. Pretty much all in on 4 Colossi.
It's 21 wild cards this time, not the classic 22.
Yeah. And Burnt with 47 2-2 Marines. Then make those 3-3 Marines now as he picks up the suited Banshees.
So this may finally be the end of Stealth here.
Maybe. Yep, Stealth surrounded on the Colossi. Vikings just not going to be enough to take it home, I don't think. And Stealth is out. We are at heads up. Oh, actually, no. Drunk Archon is out as well. Burnt just took down the entire game.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So there we go. That's our game. What were we? Game 4, week 1 in the books?
That's true, yep.
All right.
Yeah, remember that you drop your lowest score, so it's not the end of the world for these players on the bottom. They can definitely come back and place well in the league overall. We got 5 more games to make up for it.
Yeah, we got plenty of time to go. Plenty of games to be played. This is the first of many.
Absolutely. Yeah, looks like Burnt, Drunk Archon, Stealth all off to a great start this season, so we'll have to see how things turn out.
Right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. I think that's going to do it for our cast tonight. Don't forget to check on YouTube in the future for the rest of the tables to be casted. We're going to have some guest casters rotating in with me as well, so you're going to get to listen to more people than just Skelly and I. And hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Absolutely. All right, have a good one, everyone.
Take care.